Hello, hello. We are just getting going for another Wagtail Space Talk. We have a bit of time before things start proper. Hope you're having a good time so far. This is a really interesting project shared by Sylvain and Lucie, and I'm not saying that just because I'm French. All right, I see the numbers are looking good, and it's 2:30 p.m. UTC, so we'll get going. It's really my pleasure to introduce Sylvain Boissel and Lucie Laporte from the French government, talking about how they're adopting Wagtail and the French government's design system all together in their Sites Faciles platform. Over to you two.
Hi, and thank you for everyone for being here today. I'm Sylvain, with me is Lucie, and we are two of the developers of Sites Faciles in which the presentation you see was made. Are you seeing it?
Yes, all clear.
Yes. Okay. Um, so Sites Faciles is a pre-configured Wagtail installation that is used to create website for the French central administration using the French government design system or DSFR. It was created and operated by the French Interministerial Digital Directorate, Direction interministérielle du numérique, or DINUM, which is tasked with developing and overseeing the implementation of France's digital strategy. Sites created with it are by design compliant with the requirements regarding security, accessibility, and design. And the goal of the whole project was to improve autonomy for the communication services of various administration, because for many websites, they still need to make requests to the IT services to update the content of the pages, which is not very efficient. So we are a team of 6. So there is Lucie and me, but there is also a third developer, Lucien. We have an agile coach, Shaib, a product manager who also is in charge of user support, Juliette, and a designer, Florent. I'll leave.
So a quick timeline of the 4 past years. So how did Wagtail enter the sphere of digital tools? By the French administration. In 2022, a big government website was built with Wagtail. The idea was to give communication team more freedom so they could update their content directly. In 2023, other public administrations faces the same issue and start to use this project based on Wagtail, with the French design system and the DINUM, so the service who operated Wagtail, decided to use it for its own website too. The first developer was hired to maintain and improve the project. It was Sylvain. And last year, demand was growing fast, so a whole team was recruited to lead its development and deployment. And now in 2025, there is even a SaaS tool to make new seed deployments super easy. The focus today is really on accessibility, security, and making the admin experience smoother for users. So Sites Faciles is a good engine for French public administration, and they can create their own institutional websites or their intranet, extranet. They also can create landing page or blogs and articles. Even though Sites Faciles isn't meant to build large or complex websites, it's sometimes used for a certain part of existing Django application, but I will talk about this later. So today, there are around 50 websites built with Sites Faciles, and the cost savings are estimated at over 1 million euros of public money. We estimate around 500,000 visits across all Sites Faciles websites, but not all of them have analytic tools installed, so this is just an estimation for us. And I will let Sylvain to present to you the French government design system.
Yes, so the main goal of Sites Faciles was to allow to create a website for central administration, which use the French government design system, which was created in 2020 to unify French administration websites. Its focus is on accessibility and improvement of the user experience. It makes dev easier and more consistent across different services. It's a full-fledged design system with about 50 different components, along with a grid, official fonts, 2 color scheme, an icon pack, pictogram, standard page example, etc., etc. And it's included in Sites Faciles through the Django DSFR library, which I've created in 2021 for another project, and which I've managed since. But we had to re-implement a lot of things directly in Sites Faciles. So to integrate the design system into Wagtail, we had to create blocks, stream blocks or strut blocks, depending, inside the stream field for the grid system and basically everything inside it. Which leads to some challenges because some of the components have many parameters. Some are nested inside others. In fact, you often end up with quite a high level of nesting, which provide challenges UI-wise that we are still working on. Of course, it must work in light and dark mode. It must be easy to use for editor and has to comply with basically all the rules of the design system first. Here we have an example of a block, which is the grid system itself. So as you can see, there is quite a standard Wagtail straight block with 3 parameters. And then a value class, a struct value, sorry, to create a string of classes from the design system, depending on the choices made. We'll see a live example of it. Here is a grid with 5 blocks, and I'll add another one. I'm in preview. Okay. So scrolling here, and it's as you can see, there are quite a lot of blocks in the minimap, and it is there. So I'll add another block here, a card. As you can see, we have some basic blocks, some components that are specific to the design system, and then we have more structural blocks and even Markdown and HTML blocks that allow high level of customization where needed. So here is a card. I'll add a picture of Marseille. As you can see, the card is one of our most complex components and has lots and lots of parameters. I can also add an icon. We have included the design system as an icon pack, and we have included an icon picker to use it, which I intend at some point to release as a separate plugin, but I haven't had the time to do that yet. I'll do it inside the batch. It will be more. As you can see, I can add yet another level of complexity of nesting. Sorry. So here I can, on the grid itself, decide to put it in a 3 column inside of 2. And then I can publish. And now there's a new card with what we put in it. And now the grid is on 3 columns instead of 2. There are more than just StreamFields components, though. We have a page dedicated to the website configuration, which allows to do site-wide configs like changing the site title, the site subtitle, add a logo, add maybe a beta tag, put the brand in black in case there is a national
Morning.
sorrow, yeah, like when the president dies or something. So I just showed you the icon picker, and we also have an integration of ProConnect, which is a centralized auth system for public servants.
So strengths and challenges in Sites Faciles. As you can see, it makes it easy to create websites that meet government standards. It offers great performance, around 98% on Lighthouse, better accessibility scores than most French government websites, and a high level of security validated by ANSSI, which is the French National Cybersecurity Agency. It's also very flexible. It can handle both simple pages or very complex website structures, as you may see just before. And one of its biggest strengths is that it gives communications teams and public agents a real autonomy. But the main challenge now is to keep it simple while meeting the very different needs of its user. Because Site Facile in French means easy website, so we want to keep it easy. The platform is used by people with very different levels of digital skills and different expectations. For example, some editors just want a basic, ready-to-use site. They care about being fast and efficient. And others work with designers to create very custom French government design system layouts, and then they struggle to integrate them easily into the tool. So the big question is, how do we keep Site Facile easy to use while still allowing advanced users to go further when they need to? We also see a lot of different use cases between projects. Some teams use Site Facile to power entire website, while others just want to add a few features, like a sample blog or just an event listing to an existing Django app. But at the moment, the system doesn't allow you to just pick and use specific parts of it, but it's our roadmap. And finally, since it's closely tied to the French government design system, it's still a bit hard to adapt to other design systems. But we are working on many things, actually. Right now, our main focus is on simplifying the page editor interface, especially how editor choose and organize components on a page. I think you can see that it's a bit difficult sometimes. And one of the big challenges we had was that users had to visualize their page while building them, because there is a preview and previews of individual blocks, but we wanted to go further. So we decided to introduce the concept of pre-built sections. So it's ready-made blocks that come with default values. This way, editors can see the overall structure of their page right away, and then just customize the content instead of starting from scratch. And actually, we like to take this idea even further by offering fully pre-built page templates. For now, we are still exploring the best approach, whether this should be a StreamField automatically pre-filled when a page is created, or specific page models with predefined layouts. But in the long term, our goal is for editors to be able to create their own page templates, save them, and reuse them whenever they want. That would really help build consistent pages much faster while keeping the flexibility they need. So we started this work on pre-built section on the page headers, which used to be managed through separate page field that had to be combined to create a nice header. And we migrated all that into a stream field, which now handles headers as a component. Maybe, Sylvain, you can just show. Thank you. Donc, as a component with multiple layout options. It's a big migration, but it makes editing much more flexible and consistent. And as you can see, you just add 1 arrow and there is the text content already pre-filled, the button already pre-filled, and the image already pre-filled. So next, we plan to extend this approach to other parts of the page, for example, sections that combine several French government design system components already pre-filled with default values, so editors can use them right away, following the same ID. The idea is to make the tool feel more intuitive and supportive from the very beginning. We'd also love to contribute more to the Wagtail community. First, internationalization. Many of our users work in French, and some translation in Wagtail or in third-party plugins are either missing or confusing, and we'd like to help improve that, both by contributing translation and by working on how Wagtail handles multilingual interfaces overall. And second, we are very interested in improving the link chooser experience. Right now, in our implementation, users have to pick from a drop-down menu to choose the type of link. For example, an internal page, an external URL, or a document. That drop-down then hides or shows the corresponding fields. It works, but it's not the most intuitive approach, and we'd like to contribute to a new unified link chooser, similar to the other choosers in Wagtail. This is the link chooser, so just a little drop-down, and it's hide or show the right field. It's also one of the most common requests from our editors. So I just let Sylvain to let you know about the future of Sites Faciles.
So having said all of that, right now the future of Sites Faciles is uncertain because as of last week, the DNUM has had a change of strategy regarding Sites Faciles. They now want to participate in the digital commons that is Wagtail, rather than build a separate project. And for now, how it will happen is not entirely clear. We'll probably turn what Sites Faciles is right now into a library, maybe Wagtail, DSFR, something like that, or a collection of smaller libraries, and change it to allow the use of other design systems for other levels of the French administration, like local authorities, like municipalities or departments cannot use the DSFR right now. Universities cannot either. And we'll encourage the creation of a community of users inside of French administration. So the administrations that have seats made with Sites Faciles or with Wagtail in general, we want to regroup them, make them talk, create a community in short. And we want to create a network of experts that can implement this new Wagtail DSFR plugin and that have the proper registration to work as a sorry, a contractor for the French administrations. I've included a link to this talk, so you can see that it is indeed a Wagtail page. If you want to see it later, and if you have any question, don't hesitate. I will scroll up. On the
Sylvain, I have a list of questions. If you want, I can
Yes.
ask them directly.
Yeah, that would be great.
Great. Well, thank you both. I'll get going. Bertrand asks, which tech is used to orchestrate all those instances of Wagtail?
We deploy on Scalingo and use the Scalingo API. Scalingo is French equivalent of Heroku.
Great, thank you. And next we have Christophe asking how much hours did it take to bring Wagtail to this level? I think he was asking when you were showing the really cool icon speaker and your customizations.
The icon picker I made before, it's a component I made for Django DSFR, so I can use in any Django project for the French government. But I don't know, I've worked since October of 2023, so 2 years now, and I was joined by Lucie and Lucien a few months ago now.
6 months ago for me.
Yeah. So lots of hours.
Great. Folks, I'm going through the questions in order, and I think we'll have time for a few more, so I'll keep going, but definitely keep asking them in the Q&A or the chat. Next, Sébastien asks how you distribute the design system, if it's through a package repository like PyPI.
Yeah, it is. It's a package that is on PyPI. PyPI. Sorry. Django DSFR. I think I showed it. Django.
I will put the link in the chat.
Great. And we have a lot more questions about the icon picker that I think you might have already answered, but if there's so much love, maybe you want to say more. Sébastien says, is it based on an existing config
Yes.
package?
Yes,
And
it's somewhere in the doc, but I'll have to check the source code to retrieve the name of the package. Sorry, I'll stop the share and shut the search now.
great. I'm going through my list still. More love from Scott on the icon speaker being an installable package. Barney asks, are Wagtail upgrades still relatively straightforward given the number of sites dependent on Sites Faciles?
That's one of our biggest challenges because we know that there are about 50 sites. We don't manage all of them, so we cannot test properly before deploying for all of them. So sometimes it can be tricky, and plus there are websites that are at different level of updates. So we have to keep retrocompatibility, whereas when you have one website and you can break the Django migration if needed when you make big changes.
I think right now the community is small, so we know the developer which work on certain websites, which has a lot of customization or headless website, for example. But if it's grow, I think it will be a little more complex to just update and give support to them.
That makes sense. I see there's a very similar question in the chat, making customizations upgrade friendly. Do you want to say anything more about that?
It's a great question because it was a lot of discussion during in the team. So we don't have any trouble now, but maybe in the future, I don't know. We have tests and we want to add more tests, but we didn't make it now.
Makes sense. And you work with the core team. It's a good way to future-proof things. Jeremiah asks if all the sites are on the same Wagtail instance.
No. It's 50 sites, 50 instance. But it's also discussion because the DNU wants to not creating all this instance of maybe multi-tenant in each minister was preferable. I don't know.
Makes sense. It's great to see so many questions. I think we have time for one more question, but I'll pick a comment that I think could be interesting for you to react to. James reflects on similar work he does with another government organization using Wagtail, and he says, if we let them pick icons, we'd end up with some crazy inconsistencies across the sites. I just thought it would be great for you to say what you think of that.
That's true. But I'd like to have a more directive website, but we need to be to leave the website creator to have the full possibilities offered by the DSFR. They have to choose icons in the icon list, which is quite small. And we have put some limits also, like if you have a list of buttons with icons, either all live icons or none, but you cannot have inconsistencies inside the same list of buttons, for example.
And we have sites that are more beautiful than others.
Oh, I love that you say that. We don't think of our children this way, do we? But sometimes we have to admit it. Well, I think that's time for questions. Uh, Outstanding work. It's really cool to see people taking Wagtail to a problem like this. And I'm really happy we get to work on those things together to some degree. And I hope everyone enjoyed this. And I hope we see more of your work online after the conference. And for everyone else, I'll end the webinar. We'll go back to the lobby and you'll have 2 talks to choose from starting in 3 minutes. You get a bit of a break. Thank you again, Lucie and Sylvain. It was excellent.
Thank you, Thibaut. Thank you all.
Thank you. Thank you, everyone.